Most people drink coffee on a simple belief. It makes them sharper, and that more of it, spread across the day, keeps them sharp for longer. The research tells a more interesting story. Caffeine does improve performance, but only a specific kind, for a specific window. And the afternoon cup that's supposed to extend the effect may be quietly working against you. So we audited what coffee actually does to your performance throughout the day. Start with what caffeine actually is, because the mechanism explains everything that follows. Caffeine does not add energy to your body. It has no calories, no fuel, no stimulant payload in the way people imagine. What it does is block adenosine, the molecule that builds up in your brain across the day and produces the feeling of fatigue. Caffeine slots into the adenosine receptor and jams the signal. The tiredness is still there underneath. You just stop receiving the memo. That distinction matters enormously because it means caffeine borrows alertness rather than creating it, and the bill comes due later when the caffeine clears and all that accumulated adenosine floods the now unblocked receptors at once. That is the crash. And the timing of that bill is set by one number. Caffeine's half-life is 3 to 5 hours, which means a quarter of your morning dose is still circulating 8 to 10 hours later. Now, what does that blocked fatigue signal actually do for performance? The evidence is remarkably consistent, and it is narrower than the marketing suggests. Caffeine reliably improves what researchers call lower-order cognition, alertness, vigilance, reaction speed, sustained attention, and the ability to grind through a boring or repetitive task without drifting. Those gains are real and well replicated. But for higher-order cognition, strategic thinking, complex problem-solving, creative insight, skilled decision-making, the direct benefit is close to nothing. One body of research summed it up in 4 words: faster, but not smarter. And caffeine cannot substitute for sleep. It can mask the effect of mild sleep loss on attention, but against serious sleep deprivation it does almost nothing for the higher functions you actually need. So when someone says coffee improves performance, the honest reply is, which performance? It sharpens the loading dock. It does very little for the chessboard. Then there's the dose. And here the data is genuinely useful. Caffeine follows a dose-response curve with a ceiling. For general alertness, 1 to 3 milligrams per kilogram of body weight does the job. For a real performance effect, the research points to 3 to 6 milligrams per kilogram. For a 75 kilogram person, that is roughly 225 milligrams, or about 2 strong cups of coffee taken around 60 minutes before the task. But the curve turns on you at the top. Around 9 milligrams per kilogram, caffeine actively degrades performance. The jitter, the racing heart, and the anxiety overwhelm the benefit. More is not more. Past your personal ceiling, every additional cup buys you agitation, not output. Here is where the throughout the day part falls apart. Follow a single 200 milligram cup, about 2 regular coffees, from an 8 a.m. start, using a 5-hour half-life. By 1 p.m., roughly 100 milligrams is still in your bloodstream. By 6 p.m., about 50. By 11 p.m., bedtime for many people, you still have around 25 milligrams circulating from breakfast alone. Now add the realistic pattern. A second cup at 11, a pick-me-up at 3. You are stacking fresh caffeine on top of a base that never fully cleared. The person drinking coffee all day to stay sharp is not topping up a tank. They are slowly building a reservoir that is still draining into their brain at midnight, and that lingering caffeine has a cost most people never connect to their coffee. A clinical sleep study dosed participants with 400 milligrams of caffeine at 0, 3, and 6 hours before bed. The result that should change how you drink coffee, even the dose taken a full 6 hours before bedtime measurably reduced sleep by more than an hour of total sleep time. The detail that makes it dangerous, the participants did not notice. Subjectively, they reported sleeping fine. Only the sleep monitors caught the damage. So the 3 p.m. coffee that feels completely free is silently taxing the single biggest driver of tomorrow's performance, your sleep. The strategy of drinking coffee all day to perform better quietly eats its own returns. Now the finding that reframes the whole habit. For people who drink caffeine every day, a body of research argues that the morning boost is largely an illusion, what scientists call withdrawal-reversal. Here is the logic. Drink caffeine daily, and your brain adapts by growing more adenosine receptors. Go 8 hours without it, overnight, and you wake in mild withdrawal, foggy flat below your own baseline. The morning coffee doesn't lift you above a non-drinker. It claws you back up to where they already started the day. Controlled studies found that habituated drinkers, after their caffeine, did not actually outperform non-consumers who had none at all. The dramatic boost you feel is real, but it is measured against your own deficit, not against true zero. For the daily drinker, much of the ritual may be maintenance, not enhancement. So, does coffee actually improve performance throughout the day? The honest, data-backed answer is this: it improves a narrow band of performance for a few hours, and it only stays a net gain if you respect the chemistry. Coffee is a genuine performance tool, but it works like a drug, not a beverage, and the people who get the most from it use it precisely. Time it. A dose around 60 minutes before a defined task, when alertness or vigilance is what the job needs. Cap it, roughly 3 milligrams per kilogram, because past your ceiling you buy jitter, not output. Cut it, last cup by early afternoon, because the 6 hours before bedline is real even when you cannot feel it. And reset it, take periodic breaks so tolerance doesn't quietly turn your daily habit into pure maintenance. Used that way, coffee is a sharp, reliable, short window tool. Used as an all-day drip to stay sharp, it mostly borrows from a tomorrow you will pay for in worse sleep. That's where the data lands.